Inzektors are so fucking good. That's why I'm selling out and playing them. Inzektors plus for every turn. They're fucking good, so play them. I will show you how. And the way I'm going to show you is not the only way to play these motherfuckers. There's like 20 different ways to play them, and, you know, my one way isn't the only way you can be successful, but it is the way I'm going to show you. So if you haven't been playing on Dueling Network, or you haven't been paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately, you see this card and you have no idea what the fuck it is. It's Inzektor Hornet. It's one of the most broken cards that's going to be available. I guess it is available now, seeing as I have it in my hand. It's one of the most broken cards currently in the game, in my opinion. Now, once per turn, I can equip an Inzektor from my hand or graveyard to this card, and he gains 3 levels, so he becomes level 6. That's stupid. But when he's equipped to a card, he can send himself to the graveyard to blow up 1 card on the field. Holy shit. So all of a sudden we're talking about this guy sending himself from the graveyard to blow up 1 card on the field. Oh, well, isn't that just like Gigantis Atlas? God, we already had that. No, Atlas can't send himself. You guys know that. Don't be stupid. So, why is this card so good? Well, not only do you get the destruction, but whenever he sends himself from the back row, the other card effects kick in, and they stack, and they don't miss timing, and they're broken. So, we'll start off with 3 of these guys, because they're staple, and you need to get one to your hand or graveyard as soon as possible. Next is Inzektor Dragonfly. This guy, once per turn, he can equip an Inzektor from the graveyard or hand, just like the other guy. And when a card's sent while equipped to him, you get to special summon 1 Inzektor from your deck to your field. So we run 3 of those guys, because you get to normal summon, pop 1 card, then special summon. So what are we going to special summon? It can't be another Dragonfly, so what are we going to do? Oh yeah, let's get Inzektor Centipede. What does Inzektor Centipede do? Well, once per turn, he can also equip a monster. So can we use that Hornet that we just used? Yes, we can. So we can equip the Hornet, send the Hornet to the graveyard, destroy yet another card, and what does his effect do? Well, I can add an Inzektor card from my deck to my hand. So does that mean I can just go back and grab another Dragonfly for next turn and do it again? Yes, it does. So now your field looks like this, and you've popped 2 cards on their side of the field. And you've added either another Dragonfly to your hand or a Giga-Mantis. We'll talk about Giga-Mantis in a minute. He's not as cool as these guys. So what do you do at this point? You overlay into Zen mains, you overlay into something, and you end. And then you do this again next turn. It's kind of the bread and butter. What the hell is bread and bones? Bread and bones of Inzektors. Get a Hornet to your hand, get a Dragonfly in the field, and poop all over everything. So, in a nutshell, I'll just kind of explain the 3 most important Inzektor cards to you. Hornet, Dragonfly, and Centipede. Do I really need to talk about their attacks, like 1600? It's actually not too bad. And, 1000. So, you're not really using them for their attacks. They're not beat sticks. They are swarming, destroying motherfuckers. So, those 9 Inzektor staples. Now, this guy, once per turn, I guess it's once per turn, he can equip himself to an Inzektor. So one that's already used his effect, he can just equip himself to it. And that monster becomes 2400 attack. So that's not too bad. But also, when he's destroyed while being equipped to an Inzektor, or sent to the graveyard while being equipped to an Inzektor, he actually gets another effect. When he hits the graveyard, he can special summon 1 out. So you can, like, if you don't have any cards on your opponent's side of the field, you can actually send, we'll say this is a scenario that we're looking at. Sorry. Centipede has a Hornet on it, and we have nothing to destroy. Well, what you can do is you can add the Giga-Mantis onto the Centipede as well, and then you can send the Hornet to the graveyard to blow up the Giga-Mantis. You've now sent 2 cards, so you now get 2 searches. Stupid shenanigans like that. And once this hit the graveyard, you can actually, technically bring this out and do shit from there. So, just kind of stupid shenanigans with that card. That's also searchable off of Centipede, so you can do your first turn pop. And if you don't want to go for another Dragonfly, which I would highly recommend, you can come back and grab a Giga-Mantis. And there's a Giga-Mantis has like an evil brother who's actually somewhat better than him in certain ways. It's Giga-Weevil. I'm not running them. There is an OTK if you run both Giga-Mantis and Giga-Weevil, and I'll go over that maybe in another video, but not right now, because it's kind of, a lot of people don't think it's situational. I've looked at it. It looks pretty, you really have to overextend for it, and I don't know if that's what I want to do. So like I said, getting a Hornet to the hand or the graveyard is very important. So we are running 2 Mystic Tomatoes, and off the Mystic Tomato we're going to get a Armageddon Ritter, or an Armageddon Knight for us American folk and English folk. Armageddon Ritter is, when I use summon, you can send a dark monster from your deck to the graveyard, Hornet to the graveyard. So just kind of a mini engine to help the Insectors out. And then, everyone's favorite little piece of shit, Sangan. And we do have quite a few ways to pull cards out of the graveyard, send cards to the graveyard, and dark cards, to be exact. So we are running 1 copy of Dark Armed Dragon. He ends games. We already do have a ton of destruction, but adding this on top of it usually means game for the opponent. It's a lot for them to get around, and when he hits the field, rarely do I lose. 2 Effect Veilers. Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I do it? No, I pretty much mained 2 Effect Veilers in every deck that I've ever played since it came out. You can actually go back and look at all my deck lists. You can almost always see 2 Veilers, different rarities throughout the videos, but I love this card, and it's only getting better with Insectors and wind-ups. I'm still running 2. 2 Thunder King Rai-Oh, and I know what you guys are thinking, well, doesn't Centipede add to the hand, so isn't there a little, clashing there? No, there's not really too much clashing there. The way I look at it, if I have Thunder King on the field, and I really need to search, I can send Hornet and destroy Thunder King, and I will still get my search. That's the way it kind of resolves, and it's really stupid. But if Thunder King's on the field, I'm usually winning anyway, and I don't want to get rid of him. So I can just play around that certain thing. So 2 Thunder King, still an amazing card. I'm not running it in 3s, but it is a light, so you probably know what's coming next. All the Insectors, everything other than the Veilers and the Thunder Kings have been dark. So I am running 1 copy of BLS because he's that good. He changes the game. He's a great top deck late game, and you win when he's on the field most of the time. 3 Duality. Doesn't Thunder King clash in Duality? Shut up! Pot of Duality. You need to get your Hornets at an ample time. It speeds up the deck, adds consistency. I don't need to fucking talk about these cards. Stable, blah, 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 blah. Foolish Burial. Again, as soon as possible, we need that thing in the graveyard. I have been playing around with the idea of playing maybe a Zephyros, a Plague Spreader, a few things like that, but I haven't really put too much thought into it. I just need that Hornet in the graveyard as soon as possible, and if I already have one, I'll probably just use this to set another one so I don't draw into it. Allure, ton of darks, staple. 2 Solemn Warnings. These 2, Compulse. It's kind of my interesting tech, I guess. I have a problem with, Stardust Dragons and, Zen Mighties doing stupid shit and opening up the field. It gets rid of Gachi, Zen Mains, Zen Mighty, any Synchro or XYZ monster. It's a 1 card out to, gets Chrissy off the field for a turn. It's just actually really underrated. The only card I would run in its place is Fiendish Chains, but I don't have any anymore, and I don't feel like paying 25 each for them right now. If I can get them for a decent price, I'd probably take these 2 out and add in the Fiendish Chains. But as of right now, the Compulses are actually testing very well. 2 calls. Just remember that I can overlay 2 of my Insectors and then detach, a Dragonfly, flip this over, get that Dragonfly back, use Dragonfly's effect to equip Hornet, and then go off again. It's just retarded. This card, stupid, especially in this deck. Torrential, Dustshoot, and Solemn rounds it out. These 2 are actually my favorite traps of the format currently, so definitely running these 2. I'm not running a Mirror Force. I really don't like Mirror Force too much. So that is lineup as per usual. We'll go through it backwards, and I'll talk about a few other things. This is going to be a long video, guys. I'm sorry. There's a lot to talk about. It's a new deck. So, kind of stapled out that part. The deck list is, you know, it can differ. I can main max C's if I really need. Oh my god, this is all out of order. This is going to make me fucking OCD. You can main max C's in this. I think I'm going to side into them for now. If I was at a YCS or something like that, I would probably main the max C's because I'd be running into a bunch of plants, Insectors, and shit like that. But currently, like, at my locals, a lot of people run, like, fucking Dark Worlds and stupid shit like that where you don't really plus too much off of it. So, you know, they're not bad cards to main. By all means, main them if you want to. But as of right now, I'm going to side into them just because the locals that I play at, tons of Dark Worlds, and I'm not going to get its effect off as often as I may want in Game 1. So, let's look at that side deck. Again, this is a work in progress, a huge work in progress. And the main thing, 3D fissures. And a lot of people may be saying, okay, well, doesn't Hornet have to be sent to the graveyard to get its effect? Very important ruling-wise, guys. You got to know this. When Hornet is equipped to a card, it's treated as a spell or a trap card. And it only retains being a monster card when it hits the graveyard. So if I'm sending this, while it's equipped, to the graveyard, it's not a monster. It doesn't go there yet. So it goes to the graveyard, resolves, and becomes a monster again. I know it sounds really confusing, but that's the way it's ruled. So if this is on the field, I can still do my Hornet plays, which is the most important part. Also, when this is on the field, guess what my opponent can't do? They can't Veiler, and they can't Max C. Huge reason, not to mention the other decks that it just naturally messes with. I'm siding into 3. I think it's a good side card. 2 Cyber Dragons, don't need to explain. 2 Bottomless, this is mainly Dino hate. Light Hero Beat hate. This card, your opponent tributes Rabbit, brings out 2 Sabersaurus. You flip over Bottomless Trap Hole, remove them both. Not much more than it really needs to be said. MST, your opponents are going to be siding into skill drains, shadow imprisoning mirrors, shit like that. So you need to have as many outs as you possibly can. Siding into a 3rd Thunder King. Hero decks, any deck that I know is going to be adding cards to their hand a lot. Smashing Ground in 2. Christias and Dinos get pooped on by this. Like I said, I do have those 2 Max C's in the side. Yay. And then DD Crows. These are probably going to be taken out for Spirit Reapers for more Dino hate. This deck doesn't auto lose to Dino, but it has a huge problem with it. And I think Dino is being overlooked right now. It's still an amazing deck of the format. But I'm probably going to side into 2 Spirit Reapers just for the Dino matchup. I don't see too many being played around my area right now, but I think it's going to pick up because I think Dinos are going to do really well in Atlanta, and people aren't going to expect it. So finally, we'll go to the extra deck. Doopity-doo. We have a few household names. Trishula, Scrap Dragon, Stardust. Actually, Trishula, Trap Dragon, Stardust. Black Rose, Brio, Orient Dragon. This guy's probably going to go bye-bye soon. I think I've summoned him once, and I've had him for like 2 months. So I almost always would rather go into Brio. With all the X-Seeds going out right now, Orient Dragon's kind of already losing favor with me. So I may just sell or trade him. Catastor, Utopia, 1 Leviathan Dragon. I might bump this up to 2. Because we do spam rank 3s. That's kind of what the deck does, aside from destroying. It spams rank 3s. So definitely want probably another one of these. Probably. That doesn't really make sense. But 1 Brilliant. A lot of people are like, what the wait, this is that terrible card from Photon Shockwave, right? Well, it's a card from Photon Shockwave. I wouldn't call it terrible, though. 1800 attack. Once per turn, I could attach a monster, and all my face-up monsters gain 300 attack, and it's a permanent increase. So not only is that good, but he's also a light. So I can actually go into him when I have a BLS on board, and if he gets destroyed, I'll have a live BLS play. That's probably the main reason why I'd summon him over Leviathan, but his attack boost, if you have a swarm on the field, is also quite nice. You could add up to 1,500 extra points of damage on the field. So Giga-Brilliant, 2 Leviaires, extremely important. Your Hornet gets removed. They chain disappearance. Your Hornet, oh fuck, what am I going to do? You get it back with Leviaire and you keep going to work. Don't fucking worry about it. So, Leviaire, big plays. Obviously, if you get Dad and you're removing cards with Dad, you can actually bring them back with Leviaire. Do some more looping, do some more destroying. Amazing plays that you can only... You have to kind of do yourself. And the plays are like very obvious to you when you're playing. If I were going to sit here and explain them all to you, you'd probably be like, what the fuck did he just say? But, you know, remove a Dragonfly for Dad. Use Leviaire to bring back Dragonfly. Dragonfly equip Hornet. Hornet send, destroy. Dragonfly add or special summon Centipede. Yeah, you know, shit like that. 2 Zen mains. Stupid expensive card. I hope you guys have these. If you're planning on running Insectors or Wind-Ups. If not, you're going to be paying a pretty penny. And if you don't, you know, maybe max out on the Leviathans and Leviaires and see if you can get by. I swear by 2. And then 1 Chimera Tech Fortress. I have room in the extra deck. I don't do much, if any, synchroing unless I, you know, that off chance of Valor becomes a actual tuner and not a disruption card. But that's pretty much the deck. I talked a lot. I rambled on a little bit. But I think I gave you guys a good little preview of what Insectors can do, what they